What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone, and today we're going to talk about intonation and tuning. So, that is not in tune. Here's the thing though, the guitar is in tune. It's actually tuned perfectly with the tuner, but it sounds terrible. So the reason this is coming up is because I want to use this Machine Gun Kelly signature Schecter for some high gain sounds when I'm doing some of these Tonex videos coming up. And so we've got, you might have already seen one Tonex video by the time you see this video, but there's probably going to be some more. And I figured for the high gain stuff, this would be cool. The problem is that the last time I used this guitar, I had put 8s on it. So these are 8s. So these are 8s. By the way, that is like a dual rectifier profile on the Tonex that you're hearing right now. No other pedals or anything, just straight into the Focusrite 18i8. So in order to play this guitar properly, I think what we need to do is, first of all, let's talk about why it's out of tune. When you change string gauges on your guitar, you change the diameter of the string, right? Well, the intonation on the guitar is set to the scale on the high E is set to the scale length of the guitar. This is 25.5 inches. When you when you change string gauges, the center line of that string moves, right? Because there's one thinner and one thicker, so it changes wherever the center line, and it changes that breakover point of that scale length. Because a thicker string, the saddle needs to be in slightly a different spot to be exactly 25.5 inches. And on a thinner string, it needs to be in a little different spot to be exactly at 25.5 inches to have that perfect scale length. So then what intonation basically is all these other saddles are moved to compensate for the thickness of the strings to maintain an effective scale length for the guitar. So when you change your scale length, you have to change your intonation. The thickness of the strings sort of does that, so you got to adjust it. The other thing that you might need to adjust with a guitar, this one's not so bad because one of the reasons I love this guitar is because it has carbon fiber rods in the neck. So when we look at the neck relief on this guitar, I just set it flat anyway, but it remains flat and it stays flat. On some guitars where they're a little less stable, like a Gibson style guitar, for example, if we were to go from 8s to 10s on this, the neck relief, because the string tension changes, might pull on the neck a little bit and give you a little bit more neck relief, and you might have to tighten up your truss rod a little bit more to offset that. On a guitar like the PRS, it's probably a little bit more stable. On this thing with carbon fiber rods in the neck, it's really stable. So let's go ahead and just change strings back, because when I put 8s on this, I never adjusted anything. I just put 8s on it, played it for a little bit for a demo, and I don't know if you noticed, but up here, that's pretty good. Down here in the first position, not so good. So depending on where you play on the guitar, so in those demos, the way I got around it, to kind of mask the fact that the intonation wasn't perfect, knowing that I was going to end up putting 10s back on the guitar and I wouldn't have to mess with it. But to fix it properly, I'm going to show you. Let's go ahead. We're going to put some String Joy 10 to 48s back on this guitar, which is what I had on it originally. And we'll just see if that intonation mistuning thing goes away by itself, or if we're going to have to make another little tweak to it to make it perfect. Okay, so I didn't touch anything on the guitar. We just put that 10 to 46 set of String Joys on it, and we just tuned it up and checked the intonation with the Peterson Strobo Plus HD. I just checked it and it was perfect. Here's how it sounds. It's pretty cool. Couple things happen. First of all, it's in tune. And the other thing that happens is when all those strings are in tune with each other and you have intonation set up properly, you don't have these weird harmonics fighting against each other. And of course, obviously, it sounds good. It's cleaner. It sounds great. It sounds really, really good. And all I did was change the string gauge. The reason I wanted to do it that way is because I wanted to illustrate how much can change when you change string gauge. Changing string gauge is no big deal. But a couple of things you need to check. Neck relief first, then check your nut height, check your string height, and then check your intonation afterward. Don't just jump straight to intonation. Go all the way through all the steps of the setup. Otherwise, your intonation will be wrong. That needs to be the last thing that you check. Okay, the other thing that I noticed when doing this is I want to double check the nut height on this guitar. I feel like it's pretty good, but we could get super nerdy. I hit up StewMac. They're sending me some stuff to do nuts with. And I literally emailed her and said, I want to talk to you about nut stuff. Anyway, so she's sending me some stuff, and we're going to look over the nut on this guitar and a couple of my other ones, and we're going to see how we can refine them, because first position chords can often, the intonation in the first position chords can often be affected by not having a properly cut nut. In our next, maybe not in the next video, but stay tuned, maybe the next one after that or whatever, we will have something about these nuts, because I think it's really important. And a lot of people just play it how it comes out of the box, even though most guitar companies set it at a standard height and just leave it, when really this should be set after you get even a brand new guitar to your particular playing style. So we'll talk about that in the upcoming video. Now, I think I am ready to use this guitar in some Tonex demos. Stay tuned. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, make sure you like and subscribe and do all the things that YouTubers do, YouTube viewers do, and I really appreciate you viewing. I will leave a link to the strings, the tuner, especially guitar and the amp and stuff too, the Tonex, in the links below, but specifically the strings and the tuner, because I think those are the things you need for this project. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next video.